Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. My name is Kevin. We're doing a review on the Holiday today. The Finch Knifes Holiday. Absolutely amazing knife. First of all, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And follow me on Instagram at duties_daggers. So, I realized that this knife has been in a couple different videos, but I had never done a full review on it. I did an unboxing of it, and I did a video where I compared 3 different Finch knives together, including the Holiday. But I never did a full review on this guy, and I need to do that because this knife is really, really amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, let's get into it. Let's measure this little thing. Well, it's not a little thing. It's a medium-sized thing. Overall length is 4 1/8 inch. 4 1/8 inches. The blade is just over 3. It's like 3 1/16. And then closed, it is wow, it's exactly 4 inches. That's pretty cool. So it's kind of like a blocky sort of handle. It's kind of just a big rectangle with a little cutout here for lock bar access. It is a very classic looking knife, but with modern elements, modern amenities, and this whole thing is just built so well. First, let's do some size comparisons after I let my dog out of the room. There you go, little guy. Alright, let's do some size comparisons so you guys can get a better idea of how big it is. Let's do some Civivis. The Civivi Conspirator and the Civivi Elementum. Pretty close in size to the Elementum. And then let's do the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, Benchmade Griptilian, and yeah, that should do it. So, let's go over just the construction of this thing really quick. We have stainless steel construction for, the bolster here, the liner. The liner and the bolster is all one piece, you can see there. It has red micarta inlays. You can get a couple different options on the inlay. You can get wood, a couple different colors of micarta. And then you have the Finch logo, the Finch shield there. Inlaid into the micarta. And let me tell you something, this inlay work is honestly some of the best I've ever seen. This seam here between the stainless steel bolster and the micarta is barely noticeable when you run your finger across. Barely. Same back here. Actually, it's even better back here. I can't even tell. Yeah, I really can't tell where the micarta ends and the stainless steel begins. It's crazy. Backside as well. This Finch shield here is actually sapphire. So it's got a sapphire, over that little shield there. And when you run your finger across it, you can tell a difference in texture, but you cannot tell where the seams are. It's really, really cool. This inlay work is fan-freaking-tastic. It's crazy. On the back side here, too, you can't feel any kind of bumps or seams. Also on the front, just all around, the inlay work is fantastic. This Finch logo actually glows in the dark as well. It's a little bright right now, but I will attempt to show you guys. Kind of a cool little touch. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Maybe? Can you see it? No, I think it's too bright in here. But it glows pretty brightly, actually, when you charge it up with a flashlight or whatever. We have a titanium pocket clip, which works very well. Most of the Finches have their own specific type of pocket clip for each specific knife. I think they reuse them once or twice, but most of them have their own specific clips, which is really cool. I really love this one. It just looks great, works great. Complements the whole aesthetic of the knife very well, in my opinion. So we're looking at a Wharncliffe blade here. It's a 154 cm blade steel, and it is just ouch. I just poked myself. I actually, during one of my live streams, I was playing with this thing and dropped it, and it stabbed right into my stomach. And it went about a ½ inch deep, and it really hurt. This thing is, I'm not bleeding. This thing is very, very thin and very, very pointy and very, very sharp. It's extremely thin at the edge. It's just really a fantastic blade. And it has a hand-brushed satin finish on it. And you can see, let's see if I can get the light right. Yeah, there you go. So you can see the lines are actually going long ways instead of up and down like you would normally see. It just looks so nice, man. You can tell that, I'm not sure if a machine did, or I think it was done by hand probably. Regardless, you can tell that a lot of work went into that finish. It just looks so, so nice. Just all around, the polish and the shine on this thing is really, really nice. So, like I was saying, it's a bolster lock. That's basically a frame lock, but you have this inlay that is covering up most of the lock bar. So, on a typical frame lock, it's mostly all exposed. So you need to be careful where you're grabbing it, because if you put too much pressure on that and you go to flick it, it's not going to want to flip because you're putting pressure down on the lock bar. But that doesn't happen with this knife because it's mostly covered up. Which is really, really nice. Your fingers are down here, so I don't think maybe once or twice I was holding it weird, but if you just grab it and you flip it, you're not going to be putting pressure on that, which is, it's awesome. I love it. We have a little bit of a cutout there for lock bar access. The access to the lock bar is really, really nice. I don't have any trouble getting in there and disengaging. This lock bar is so easy to push over. It's crazy. It's just so nice. There's no jimping or kind of chamfering on the lock bar, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't need it because it's so easy to push over. It really doesn't hurt your thumb at all. Very comfortable lock bar to disengage. The flipper tab is got jimping all the way around it. You can see the jimping that's on the bottom here actually turns into this kind of forward finger choil area, so you can be up here. You can grab the knife right up here and get close to the edge if you want. I usually hold it back here. I do like to choke up on my knives, but this one I don't really feel the need to that often. We also have jimping on the spine there for a little bit of traction. The overall feel of this knife is that it is very just well made, very solid, the attention to detail is just crazy. These are made overseas, but they are designed here in the States. I believe, well, I don't know. They might be assembled here in the States too, I'm not sure. But regardless, the attention to detail is just really, really fantastic on all Finch knives that I've handled so far. I've handled 3 of them, and I absolutely plan to get more. Before I had this Holiday, I had never handled a Finch, and I was always a little bit curious about them. I wasn't sure if they were just, kind of gimmicky. Their whole aesthetic is kind of like a classic slip joint type of knife, but with a flipper tab and a bolster lock and, titanium clips. So I wasn't sure if it was kind of like gimmicky or if it was, actually well done. And then I got this in my hand, and I was just amazed. I was absolutely blown away by the craftsmanship that went into this thing. It's just very, very well done. The action is incredible. The amount of pressure that it takes to break that detent is very little, but it feels crisp at the same time. I'm not sure how they are achieving that. Because typically, if you have a flipper tab that is easy to, that doesn't require a lot of pressure, it's kind of a sluggish opening, you know what I mean? But this one, it just requires a tiny bit of pressure to break the detent, and it absolutely just pops right open, no problem at all. It's not quite polished up because it's a really light blade, but you can shake it down really easily. And let me tell you, the glassiness of the blade closing is really something. There feels like there's just so little friction in that pivot, and there's nothing hanging up on it. A lot of times you feel some kind of like grittiness in there. You feel some resistance. Not with this guy. It is absolutely glassy smooth, and then you get that very nice tinny little click when it shuts. It's addicting. It really, really is addicting. If I want to sit on my couch, watch a movie, and play around with the knife, I grab this one a lot. Even over some of my more fidgety knives, like, I don't know, like some would say that the 80-20.5 is one of the fidgetiest knives ever, and it is. But there's something about this one that is just really, really addictive. It has something to do with just that glassiness, that lovely little click, and just the way that the flipper tab is, the way that the detent's tuned. It's kind of hard to explain. You're going to have to just get a Finch and experience it for yourself. It's just crazy. It's really crazy. I'm going to open it and close it a couple times right next to the microphone, so maybe you can hear it a little bit better. Oops, hit the cord. Here we go. That's opening, and then here's the detent while it's shutting. Opening. Shutting. It's just, it's amazing. It's so nice, man. I love this knife. Finch is coming out with a lot of really cool designs too. This, I believe, probably next year, and probably the years after. They've released some prototypes, pictures of prototypes, and a couple that will be coming next year. So go to the finchnifeco.com. I'll put a link for it down below. I'll put a link to this one specifically, so you can go take a look. While you're on the Finch website, you click on, I think there's a tab that says New, and you'll be able to see all the cool new Finches that are coming out. If you're the type of person that likes to collect knives, or collect all of one specific brand of knives, this is a great one to do that with. They don't have a ton of designs yet, so you can easily work towards collecting all of them. And they're all really unique in their own way, but they all kind of have this same, classic sort of mixed with modern elements kind of look, which I really, really am digging. I'll put links down below, or actually I'll put them up here throughout the video, to my other videos with some other Finches that I reviewed. I reviewed the Harvester and the Buffalo Tooth. They just make really good knives. Very, very good knives. This one's a little heavy, but in my opinion, not nearly too heavy to carry. As an EDC type knife, no, not even close to too heavy. It's just heavy enough to where it feels substantial and quality. One of my favorite ways to close the knife is I get it right here to where it hits that detent ball, and then I just give it a little pressure and snap it shut. It's really fun. It's so fun, man. The clickiness, and it's almost like it's not like a click like this kind of click, which is a little bit more like beefy of a click. It's more of a kind of a tinny, like glassy click. I know I'm I'm getting into the acoustics here. Just trust me, this knife is amazing to handle and to operate. It's really, really cool. Ergonomically, it's just straightforward. It's just a rectangle, but all the edges are nicely rounded over, so there's no hot spots at all. Another kind of cool thing is you can stand it upright like this, since it has a square butt here. So, probably a dangerous thing to do. Put it on your nightstand like that, but you can. Or you do it closed. This knife, I love it. I absolutely love it. Finch Holiday. Get yourselves a Finch knife. If you haven't had one already, Go take a look. They have a ton of different blade shapes, ton of different patterns on the handles, and yeah, they're just really good knives. I think that'll about do it. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you in the next video. Adios.